Doing out there, y'all? Uh-oh. If y'all can hear me, clap once. Okay, a couple people heard me. I think people still setting up. Well, everybody, you are tuned in to the Anything Can Happen show. And I'm your man, Cat Fitness, and this is my co-host.
Hey y'all, this is Kenya. I'm so glad to see all these beautiful faces. Yes.
So, the Anything Can Happen show is a show based out in Oakland. Our purpose is to educate, motivate, and inspire our inner city communities through storytelling, right? And we have some of the top storytellers that I know on the stage with us today, all in their individual fields, right? I'm going to have them introduce themselves and tell them a little bit about what they do in our community, starting with Brother DB.
I appreciate that, good brother. So my name is DB Bedford. I go by the EI guy. Most people know as the EI guy. What I do in the community and in the workplace is I'm very focused on getting folks in a space where they never let their emotions overpower their intelligence. So I do that by way of spreading the word around emotional intelligence. Born and raised in Oakland, California, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invite.
Always. Brother Monk.
What's happening? My name is Monk Coleman, and I am a meditation instructor, and I help people heal. That's what I do. I also do a little bit of fitness as far as personal training, but mainly a spiritual coach and a meditation instructor to help people see something they may not see in themselves. I point them in the right direction so they can see it in themselves.
And Monk is also an author. I just want to throw that out there too.
Hi everyone, my name is Lynn Patterson and I am also an author, a poet, storyteller, educator, and also the host of Adult Happy Hour, which is a podcast. Thank you. Adult Happy Hour is a podcast where we talk about sensuality, eroticism, sexuality. We talk about things like love, belonging, all of the things that make us feel warm and fuzzy, and how to get more of that out of life. So yeah, that's me.
Peace, family. I am Kariga Bailey. I am a storyteller, a practitioner of love, author, a recording artist. Many of you all might know my collective, Soul Development. But our work is really centered around the light being the vehicle by which love transfers. And my wife and I also have a award-winning podcast. Let's see, we're nominated for an AMBI, which is the Academy for Podcasting. So we're nominated for Best Indie Podcast. We go down to Vegas like next week to get those results. And we won Best Religion and Spirituality Podcast from the Black Podcasters Award. Our work is centered around grief as an experience of love and the opportunity to love more abundantly when grief enters the room.
And I'm going to have Mr. Cat Fitness introduce himself, sir, to anybody who may not know.
Everybody, I'm Cat from Cat Fitness. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I also am the co-founder of Heal the Hood. We're my vegan hood chefs in here. They're actually the other co-founders of Heal the Hood. If y'all heard of Heal the Hood events in the Bay Area, we host those events. We've done 7 events in the last 2.5 years, I believe. And I also have a product line called Cat Fitness Rejuvenate, which is a wildcrafted sea moss, all organic, to help people cleanse their body, detoxify, so it can strengthen them during their transformation. Can you tell us a little bit about you as well, Mrs. Kenya Asa?
Sure. Hey everybody, my name is Kenya. I'm the owner of Ruby Envy Wellness and also Pussy Yoga with Kenya. And I am a yoga teacher here in the Bay Area, originally from Berkeley, California. I have a retreat coming up in Costa Rica. Holler at me for women in May 22nd to May 28th. And I teach all kinds of things. I think I'm going to be teaching a pussy yoga right here at agency soon. So keep a look at it.
All right, so this is the first question to my panelists. One of the things that really stood out to me when they asked me to have this conversation with everybody is all of y'all are incredible storytellers. Now, my question to you, and it doesn't matter who answers first, is how did you allow storytelling to take you through your healing journey?
Yes, since I have the mic, I'll go ahead and start it off. Yeah, right on, my man. Good to see you. I think for me, storytelling aided in my healing because it helped me be accountable for what I did in terms of creating my story. And so, you know, when you come from certain backgrounds and you've done certain things, it's very easy to blame others for your situation, whether it's the separation of your parents, whether, you know, you get shot or whatever. It's, you know, it takes a long time before you get to the point where you have a level of self-awareness and realize that you are the common denominator, right, in all things that happen to you. So I think for me, the healing really started to amplify the more I took ownership in the role that I played in any experiences that I've had in life.
What's the question again, Ken? Yeah, so I believe that everybody should tell their story. I think when we tell our story, we give others an opportunity to relate to us, right? Everybody got a story, and I was talking to somebody today, and I said, you know, about the radio station, and I said, the one common theme, it doesn't matter if you had a really rough upbringing or you had a silver spoon in your mouth, we all suffer from trauma and pain, right? And you can just reach one person that hears your story and change their entire life. So I think it's very important for us, everyone here, to tell their story. Every story is unique. Everybody is a storyteller. All they got to do is open their mouth. And we need to hear you just like we need to hear us.
For me, I think storytelling is intimately intertwined with my journey of healing, because for me, I discovered poetry when I was a young person and going through trauma at home. And I grew up in a household where it was like, what happens in this house stays in this house, and you couldn't talk to other people about it. So when I found poetry, it was the opportunity for me to process some of those things that were happening without anyone having to really know what I was talking about. And then when I went to therapy as an adult, I remember my therapist asked me, like, what do you use as a coping mechanism? And I said poetry, and I had this epiphany that I had been writing poetry since I was in first grade, but I had never shared it with anyone because it was so deeply personal to me. And then I started sharing it, and every single time I told the story, it took the power and the shame of what happened away. And to be able to stand in a room and to own that in front of other people and to create communities of care through that storytelling has been such an empowering healing journey for me. So I think they're like deeply intertwined with one another.
Lynn, that was beautiful what you added, but I also want to acknowledge, at least in my ears, how great your voice sounds just as you speak and tell your story. I'm looking over like, the mix, what's up with us? But by any chance, I love you said it's an intimate interconnectedness, right? My wife writes something along, when we share our stories, it creates room for connectedness and compassion. It creates room for belonging. It creates room for love, right? And I storytell in multiple mediums, as an MC, as a recording artist, as an author, but perhaps some of the furthest reach on the storytelling has come by way of my wife and I, and our experiences and our identity as angel parents, and how many people experience neonatal loss, full-term loss, all the sequence of loss, the spectrum. And those stories have been silenced in the busy of providing, the busy of doing, the busy of not knowing how much you want to feel. Is it safe to feel everywhere? But you realize that so many adults have gone through development and even starting and having family grow in another direction, but they hold these things and have been looking for room to discuss that as a part of their experience. So when we look at grief as an experience of love, it really just opens up the playing field for all of us to understand how we're all connected. And I really believe that, like, concerning relationships, right? My wife and I have been together now for 19 years, but we've been married for 10. So this is high school, grad school, undergrad, the whole nine, right? And one of my partners is my best friend, also my engineer. Back in like 2012, 14, he's like, man, y'all should do couple content. He looked at him dead in his face and like, hell no, you sound ridiculous, right? At that point of our lives, we thought that relationships, as we were taught, is your business. And we've learned so many different modalities around business, family business. But if we open that up a bit, and it goes from being your business to your story, right? It's just about finding the safety in the room that is safe enough. But we acknowledge that there aren't a lot of spaces that are safe enough for us to fully, us meaning collectively, fully tell your story. So creating and curating safe spaces for storytelling, I believe, is shifting the world in the direction I want my children to inherit. I believe it's co-creating the conditions for us to have less business and more story. And I think that a lot of our traumas and secrets and inabilities to carry some of the awkwardness of things that have happened to us happen because we think we're the only ones. And when you shift that around your head over and over and over again, you'll tell yourself why you can't say. But safe spaces create the conditions for all of us.
Man, I'm so glad you mentioned that because one of the things that I'm a trauma-informed yoga teacher, right? And it is so often that I hear from clients that their traumas are just stuck in their body, stuck in their mind, stuck inside their family, behind closed doors, right? Behind the secrets. What I would like to know from anybody who wants to go first, was there anybody in your circle, your family, a teacher, a mentor, anybody like that, that encouraged you to start telling your stories, or encouraged you to get out and do what you do with passion, or discouraged you, said to you, you know what, some things just should remain unsaid, because I think a lot of families certainly have that, where maybe you should just keep that to yourself. So I was just curious if anybody had something that encouraged or discouraged.
Well, for me, our family dynamic was a little bit different. I'll put it like that. We loved each other, but we really weren't close. So starting from like my teenage years, I was already out of the house, doing my thing, and working with the trauma that was passed down to me, and repeating that cycle, but I was doing it on my own. And I actually started to create. Even though my dad passed away when I was 3, I was turning into him on my own. Like I said, we weren't very close, so no one encouraged me or discouraged me. When my health started to fail, then I had to do something different. I didn't have to do something different, but if I didn't, I wouldn't be here right now. So I think that higher self is always there. It might be whispering, but it's always there. And if you can sit down, and that's why I'm a meditation instructor this day, because it saved my life. It connected me to the God within me that was always there, but I was too busy to hear. So I started sitting down and I started listening, and I started getting that guidance. We don't have other people is a good thing, but we are powerful by ourselves. We don't have to have anybody. We don't have to depend on anybody. When you're tapped in and you're connected to the Most High, there's never a letdown. When you put all your eggs in one basket and try to have someone else outside of yourself support you, it's always an opportunity, it's always a chance you're gonna get let down. And I'm saying that you are more powerful than you know.